The quietest one in the room is usually the one who already figured everything out. Let's get something straight. Sigma males don't destroy evil people by shouting, fighting, or trying to prove a point. They do it in ways most people never see coming. No drama, no warnings, just silent precision, because real strength doesn't come from being loud. It comes from knowing exactly when to walk away, when to cut someone off, and when to let the truth expose everything on its own. If you've ever been the guy who keeps his distance, trusts his gut more than the crowd, and chooses silence over chaos, you're not cold, you're calculated. You're not antisocial, you're selective. And if people have tried to lie to you, control you, guilt you, or play you, and it didn't work, that wasn't luck. That was you being a Sigma without even realizing it. This video isn't about revenge, it's about power, the quiet kind. The kind evil people never know how to handle. You don't need to raise your voice or explain your moves. You just need to know what you're dealing with and act accordingly. Evil people feed off weakness, confusion, and attention. But Sigma males, they give them nothing. And that's what drives them crazy. So if you're tired of dealing with fake smiles, guilt trippers, and manipulators who think they're smarter than you, watch this video to the end. You'll not only understand how Sigma males destroy evil people, you'll realize why you've been one all along. Let's dive into 11 ways Sigma males dismantle evil people without a physical fight. Number 1, they learn the enemy's playbook, then burn it quietly. Sigma males don't just walk into chaos blind, they study it patiently, calmly. While others are reacting emotionally, the Sigma male is taking mental notes. He watches how the manipulator moves when they lie, how they twist stories, what kind of people they target, and what bait they use to pull others in. He doesn't confront it right away. He doesn't expose them on the spot. That would be too predictable and far too easy for the manipulator to spin. Instead, he lets them think they're winning. He listens while they overplay their hand. He nods while they reveal their tactics. All the while, he's memorizing the playbook they don't even know they're showing him. But here's the twist. He never uses their methods. He never becomes what he studies. That's where most people go wrong. They learn manipulation, then try to use it back. But not the Sigma male. He's not interested in revenge. He's interested in ending the cycle. Once he fully understands how the game is played, he quietly dismantles it. He stops reacting. He stops playing the expected role. He makes moves that don't follow the script, and that throws the manipulator off completely. Their tricks don't land anymore. Their lies don't provoke. Their chaos falls flat. And then, without warning, he flips the whole board. He exits, changes direction, exposes patterns, or simply makes it impossible for the manipulator to ever use the same tactics again. No screaming, no breakdown, just a quiet surgical takedown. Sigma males don't fight fire with fire. They remove the oxygen. They don't become the villain. They outsmart the system, then burn the manual. And when the game is finally over, the evil person is left standing in the ashes of a strategy that never stood a chance. Number 2, they move on without a need to be right. One of the smartest and most powerful things a Sigma male ever does is walk away while the evil person is still mid-sentence. Not out of disrespect, not out of arrogance, but because he's already figured it out and realized that staying any longer is just feeding madness. Evil people live for arguments. They don't want clarity, they want chaos. They'll twist your words, cry on cue, play the victim, and even make you question your own memory. Not because they want peace, but because confusion gives them control. They don't care who's right. They just want to keep you tangled in their web. But Sigma males, they don't get caught in that trap. They've mastered the art of leaving before things turn into a circus. See, they've learned that needing to win is actually just another form of being controlled. When you're desperate to be understood by someone who's lying to your face, you're already losing. So they stop explaining. They stop proving. They stop playing defense. They let the evil person talk in circles while they quietly take the exit that most people are too emotionally trapped to see. And the effect? It's brutal for the manipulator, because evil people count on your emotional reactions. They feed off your frustration. So when a Sigma male just walks out, no yelling, no begging, no trying to be right, it short-circuits the whole game. The toxic person is left talking to themselves, wrestling with the silence, spiraling without an audience. That's what really messes them up. The realization that their chaos no longer works, that their grip is gone. Sigma males don't fight to be understood. They choose peace over pride. And in the process, They leave evil people alone with the one thing they fear most, themselves. Number 3, they respect their gut more than any explanation. Sigma males don't need a smoking gun to walk away. They don't sit around waiting for proof while someone plays mental gymnastics. If something feels off, if their gut whispers even the slightest warning, they listen fully, quietly, and without debate. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Most people ignore that feeling. They second-guess themselves. They ask others for advice. They give the benefit of the doubt, even when their body is screaming, "Get out." But Sigma males, they've learned the hard way that intuition isn't random, it's a signal, and it rarely lies. So instead of waiting for someone to completely ruin their peace, they leave at the first whiff of chaos. They don't need a text message to confirm betrayal. They don't need a long explanation full of loopholes. They don't need the other person to admit anything. They just trust the tension in the air, the strange shift in tone, the sudden defensiveness, the energy that suddenly doesn't feel safe anymore. And because Sigma males aren't addicted to drama or desperate for approval, they don't need closure to exit. They just need a reason they feel in their bones, and that's enough. What makes this terrifying for manipulators is that Sigma males can't be baited into staying. You can lie, you can cry, you can blame shift. But once a Sigma's gut has spoken, it's over. No fight, no fireworks, just distance. That's why evil people hate dealing with Sigma males. Because you can't out-talk their intuition, you can't guilt-trip it, you can't distract it with charm. And when they walk away based on instinct alone, they almost always turn out to be right. Because Sigma males know proof can lie, but your gut never does. And they trust theirs like it's survival instinct. Because it is. Number 4, they make evil think twice before choosing them again. One of the most dangerous things about Sigma males is that you never really know how they'll respond. But you do know it won't end well for the manipulator. They don't explode, they don't beg, they don't throw fits. Instead, they go silent, shift gears, and handle the situation in ways that catch people completely off guard. That unpredictability alone makes most manipulators think twice before targeting them again. See, evil people like easy patterns. They want predictable reactions, tears, anger, submission, because it helps them stay in control. But Sigma males break that formula. You think they're going to argue? They vanish. You expect them to forgive and forget? They ice you out for life. You assume they'll fall apart. They quietly level up without saying a word. And that quiet unpredictability spooks manipulators more than anything else. Because here's what happens. The manipulator tries their usual tricks, and it completely backfires. Instead of drama, they get distance. Instead of control, they get ignored. Instead of dominance, they get dismantled piece by piece, without the Sigma ever even raising his voice. And once that happens, the memory of it sticks. Most people move on from manipulation feeling broken. Sigma males move on having taught the manipulator a lesson they'll never forget. They don't just survive, they leave behind a blueprint of consequences. So the next time that toxic person wants to mess with someone, they remember the Sigma, the silence, the precision, the way everything fell apart without warning. And just like that, the Sigma becomes the one target they'll avoid at all costs. Not because he threatened them, not because he fought them, but because he refused to play their game and still won. And that kind of quiet, unpredictable strength, it haunts evil long after the Sigma walks away. Number 5, they never let evil define their story. There's a silent kind of strength Sigma males carry that most people overlook, especially evil ones. No matter how deep the betrayal, how personal the attack, or how cruel the manipulation, Sigma males never let it define who they are. They don't walk around wearing the scars like trophies. They don't relive the drama, retell the betrayal, or let the pain become their personality. They heal, they rebuild, and they move forward. Not to prove a point, but because that's simply who they are. See, most people who go through something dark end up building an identity around the damage. Their life becomes a response to the evil. Every choice they make, every word they speak, it's all tied back to that one person, that one event. But Sigma males refuse to give evil that kind of power. They understand something deeper. The greatest revenge is not living in response, it's living in freedom. They don't seek pity, they don't look for applause for surviving, they just quietly transform. Their success, peace, and growth become a natural byproduct of refusing to carry dead weight. And that right there is the ultimate destruction of evil, when the Sigma male rises, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. because the manipulator wants to be the main character in your pain. They want you to orbit them, even in your healing. But when you stop giving them space in your mind, in your story, and in your future, that's when you cut their influence off at the root. Sigma males don't just walk away from evil, they erase its power by refusing to let it shape who they become. And that silent, unstoppable evolution, that's what truly breaks the enemy. Number 6, they trigger existential crises in evil people. Sigma males don't try to beat evil people, they confuse them to the point of self-destruction, and they do it without raising their voice, making threats, or playing dirty, just by being calm, unbothered, and completely grounded in who they are. You see, evil people survive on control. They love stirring chaos, getting reactions, pulling strings behind the scenes. They're used to people breaking down, blowing up, or crawling back. But when they try that with a Sigma male and nothing happens, no reaction, no begging, no fear, just a steady, silent confidence, it messes with them badly. Because now the manipulator is forced to ask themselves questions they've spent years avoiding. Why isn't this working? Why doesn't he fear me? Why can't I break him like the others? That's where the ego starts to crack. The Sigma male becomes a mirror, not by trying to be one, but just by being. No lectures, no need to prove he's right. Just holding his ground with quiet clarity while the manipulator starts falling apart under the weight of their own confusion. And here's what makes it brutal. Sigma males don't even celebrate the win. They don't rub it in, they just observe the collapse and move on. That absence of validation, that complete disregard for the manipulator's game, it's spiritual warfare, and it hits deep. Evil people crave dominance, but Sigma males give them something worse: irrelevance. They make the manipulator feel powerless, not because of force, but because of indifference. And that, right there, is where the real damage happens. Not in fights, not in revenge, but in the quiet unraveling of someone who suddenly realizes their tricks have lost all power. The Sigma doesn't destroy the manipulator's ego with fire. He does it with a mirror and silence. Number 7, they don't fight evil, they starve it. Here's where Sigma males flip the script completely. Most people, when faced with evil, whether it's manipulation, gaslighting, guilt-tripping, or straight-up betrayal, go into battle mode. They argue, they plead, they try to prove their side, and in doing so, they feed the very thing that wants to see them crumble. But Sigma males, they don't play that game. They understand one brutal truth: evil doesn't need agreement, it just needs your energy. The more you react, the more you try to fix it, defend yourself, or prove someone wrong, the more you're handing your peace over to the chaos. Sigma men don't go to war with evil, they starve it. They quietly back out of the conversation, they detach from the drama, they don't argue with the liar, they just stop responding. And to evil people who rely on control, who feed off emotional reactions, who want to see you chase closure, that silence is maddening. It's like setting a trap, except the trap is empty space, no fuel, no fire, just cold, calculated distance. This isn't passive behavior, it's powerful. It takes serious discipline to walk away from something you know is wrong, without the need to expose it, fix it, or fight it. Sigma males don't need revenge because they understand that without their attention, evil dies on its own. And here's the deeper truth: evil doesn't fear anger, it fears indifference, because when someone like a Sigma male goes quiet, walks away, and doesn't look back, it forces the evil person to face their own reflection with no one left to manipulate. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, remember this: you don't destroy evil by attacking it. You destroy it by refusing to feed it. Stay calm, stay focused, stay gone. That's how Sigma males win, every time. Number 8, they trigger guilt by staying unbothered. Here's where Sigma males completely flip the dynamic, and it messes with evil people more than anything else. Evil minds feed off control. They don't just want to hurt you, they want to watch you squirm. They want the emotional reaction, the breakdown, the begging, the outrage. That's their fuel. But when they try it on a Sigma male, the engine doesn't start. Why? Because Sigma males don't react the way most people do. They don't give long speeches, don't try to make someone understand, and they definitely don't chase after people who've already shown who they are. Instead, they do something much more dangerous. They stay calm. They look the manipulator in the eye, or worse, they don't look at all. They give nothing. No emotion, no panic, no drama, just cool, uncomfortable silence. And you know what happens next? That silence turns into a mirror. Suddenly, the evil person isn't dealing with someone they can twist. They're stuck looking at themselves. and it's not pretty. The guilt they buried under control and ego starts bubbling up. Why? Because their manipulation didn't work. Their little game fell flat. And that quiet, steady indifference from the Sigma male, that hits harder than any insult ever could. Evil people aren't used to being ignored. They're used to puppets, not stone walls. So when the Sigma doesn't flinch, it leaves them unsettled. They can't figure out why their usual tricks aren't working. It forces them to question themselves, and that's the one place they never want to go. The power isn't in screaming louder. It's in refusing to scream at all. So the next time someone tries to get under your skin, remember this. True control isn't about reacting. It's about choosing not to. Sigma males don't seek revenge. They hand evil a mirror and walk away. Number 9, they turn observation into ammunition. Here's what most people don't realize about Sigma males. They're always watching. Not in a creepy way, but in a calculated, quiet, razor-sharp kind of way. While everyone else is caught up in the noise, Sigma males are sitting back, taking mental notes, noticing who changes their story, who over-explains, who avoids eye contact when they lie. They're not judging, they're gathering intel. Sigma males don't rush to call people out. They don't need to. Why? Because they know that exposing evil isn't about emotion, it's about timing. They let people reveal themselves. And they're patient enough to wait. They don't jump into arguments or try to correct every little thing. They let the pattern repeat again and again until they have a full picture. And when the moment is right, boom, game over. That's the power of observation. Every inconsistency, every fake apology, every manipulative word is mentally filed away, organized, categorized, and stored. So by the time a Sigma male decides to act, they're not acting out of rage. They're acting with receipts, precision over chaos. And the beauty of it? The evil person never sees it coming. They thought the Sigma was passive, quiet, maybe even weak. But what they didn't realize is silence doesn't mean ignorance. It means strategy. When Sigma males speak, they do it with evidence. Calm, cool, and unshakable. No yelling, just facts. And that's what destroys manipulators the most. Being dismantled by truth they can't escape. Delivered by someone who never even raised their voice. So if you're the quiet one in the room, the one who notices everything while saying very little, don't underestimate that power. Observation isn't weakness, it's a weapon. And in the hands of a Sigma male, it's deadly accurate. Number 10, they never give second chances to malice. Here's something that sets Sigma males apart from almost everyone else. They don't play with intention. You can make a mistake, sure. You can even screw up big. But if the Sigma senses that you meant to hurt, manipulate, or deceive them, that's it. There's no second chance, no dramatic exit, just silence, and you're gone. Most people give too much credit to apologies. They hear, "I'm sorry," and start second-guessing their gut. Not the Sigma. He's not interested in words, he's watching behavior. And if that behavior looks like calculated harm, that's all he needs. He won't argue, he won't ask why, he won't wait around for an explanation that's going to be dressed up in lies anyway. Because Sigma males understand something most people don't. Evil doesn't show up once, it tests the door first. It starts small, a subtle dig, a controlling move wrapped in concern, a moment of disrespect disguised as a joke, and if you let it slide once, it comes back louder. But Sigma males don't let it slide. They see it for what it is, and they shut the door immediately. This is why manipulators can't stand Sigma men. They can't get them to stay confused or emotionally tangled. They can't lure them back in with guilt trips, sob stories, or promises to do better. The Sigma already knows better. Once they sense that the intention was to cause harm, there's no return, no speech, no closure, just exile. And that's what leaves people stunned, because they expected drama, not distance. They expected to fight, not vanish. But that's the thing. Sigma males don't do revenge, they just remove you. And to someone who thrives on control, that kind of disappearance hits harder than any insult ever could. You don't get second chances with a Sigma if your first move was meant to destroy. Number 11, they let karma use their exit as a trigger. Sigma males don't wish bad on people, they don't play dirty. But when they walk away from someone evil, things tend to fall apart, and fast. Not because they hexed anyone, but because they stopped shielding them from their own karma. Here's what people don't realize. Sigma males don't just bring presence, they bring protection. Even when they're dealing with toxic people, they still carry a sense of balance, logic, and restraint that silently keeps everything from crashing. They don't enable evil, but their calm presence tends to keep the chaos from spilling out too far. And most of the time, the evil person doesn't even realize how much stability the Sigma was silently providing until he's gone. That's when things start to unravel. See, when a Sigma male exits, he takes his energy, his silence, and his clarity with him. What's left behind is a mess of manipulation, lies, and dysfunction with no one holding it back. Suddenly, the manipulator's web starts collapsing. The lies stop working. The people they used to control stop responding. The mask begins to slip, and karma doesn't need an invitation. It just kicks in fast. But here's the twist. The Sigma didn't do anything. He simply walked. That act alone is what triggered the spiral, because the Sigma male wasn't just another person in their life. He was the final barrier between them and their consequences. And when he leaves, that barrier disappears. So while the manipulator sits in the fallout, relationships breaking, reputation cracking, plans backfiring, the Sigma is long gone, not looking back, not watching it burn, because he doesn't need revenge. He just lets the truth breathe, and karma do the rest. And that's why when a Sigma leaves, it's not just an exit, it's a trigger for everything that was waiting to hit. In final words, how Sigma males destroy evil people. Conclusion. Here's the truth. Sigma males don't destroy evil people with fists, arguments, or drama. They destroy them by refusing to play the game, by walking away when others chase closure, by staying calm while chaos begs for attention. They don't fight like the world expects, and that's exactly why their impact is so brutal. Evil doesn't know what to do with someone it can't control. If you're watching this and you feel this in your bones, chances are you're not like everyone else either. Maybe you've been the one who walked away silently. Maybe you've watched people try to twist your peace into weakness, only to realize you were 5 steps ahead the whole time. That's not just strategy, that's who you are. That's strength without noise, that's power without ego. You're not broken for being distant, you're not cold for being quiet. You're wise. You see what others miss. You sense things before they explode. You don't just react, you calculate. That's Sigma energy. It's rare, it's misunderstood, but it's needed more than ever, because the world doesn't need more people yelling into the void. It needs more people who can hold the line, walk away when it's time, and let truth do the talking. So if this spoke to you, really spoke to you, don't click away just yet. Watch until the end. There's more in here that'll remind you of your power, your clarity, and the reason evil never quite knows how to handle you. You don't destroy evil by becoming it. You destroy it by being the one thing it can never control. Thank you for watching. God bless you.